What's going on, everybody? Today I want to take a closer look at the Intel store and break down what I believe to be the stronger values versus things that should be avoided. Intel is, of course, a resource that you can get from the temporary event quest going on right now, Nick Fury's Recon initiative. And there's 5 different difficulties. You can do all 5 of them if you're able to. And of course, the higher the difficulty, the more intel you're actually going to be able to get. Now, I wish Kabam included the resource in the resource summary here like they used to, but it seems like the only way to track how much intel you actually have is to go to your inventory, scroll down, find it, and then you can see exactly the type of intel that you are working with. So if we go back to the store, I think it's pretty simple here. I think it's pretty cut and dry in my opinion of what the good values are and what the not so good values are. There are really 2 different types of resources to target here, in my opinion. We have the Awakening Gem Crystals, and it's going to depend on where you're at in the game as to which Awakening Gem Crystal you can get. Of course, if you are deep enough into the game where you can get 5,000 intel, then it is a good idea to go for this 5-star Awakening Gem Crystal. If you choose, there is going to be an option here, versus the 4-star Awakening Gem Crystal is all I'm saying. But if you're not quite ready to get 5,000 intel from this event, if you are still working your way through, Act 4 or lower, for example, then you're definitely going to want to go for this 4-star Awakening Gem Crystal. This is a very strong value at only 400 intel. It's extremely difficult to awaken 4-star champions early on in this game when there are so many different 4-star champions in the pool at the moment. So yeah, I really value this 4-star Awakening Gem Crystal if that is where you're at in your progression. The other good pickups, in my opinion, are just the other rank up resources here. So you kind of can take your pick between targeting rank up materials or targeting the Awakening Gems. And actually, I'm not going to go for the Awakening Gems myself. I could use a 5-star Awakening Gem Crystal, absolutely. But I don't know, man. First off, I feel like every time I use an Awakening Gem, I just naturally duplicate that champion anyway. It kind of feels like it goes to waste. That's not always the case. I wouldn't have an Awakened Void right now if I didn't have that Science Awakening Gem that I gave to him, which helped out a ton. But I also just really value ranking up more champions. I see this game as just a big old playground where Kabam's just, they're adding more and more things to play with. And the more champions that I have ranked up, the more champions that I can just kind of toy around with, that's what makes the game fun for me. Also, it helps out immensely with arena grinding if you're able to take in higher level champions. You don't need to spend nearly as much time. It's just much easier to get on the infinite streak, easier to maintain the infinite streak, all around much easier. So you kind of have that option to choose rank up resources or Awakening Gem Crystals. The rest of the stuff here I don't think is worth it. So, for example, the 5-star shards, I think these are an absolutely terrible value. If you think about it, with the cost of this, you get 10% of a 5-star crystal for 575 intel. So, getting an entire 5-star crystal would be more expensive than this 5-star Awakening Gem Crystal. I don't know, man. That doesn't even sound close to reasonable. The Awakening Gem is way better than a single 5-star crystal. So yeah, the shards, they're a pretty poor value. The 6-star shards, there's just not enough here for the amount of intel that it's costing. It's just not enough. The signature stone crystals, because you're only getting 1 sig stone for 200 intel, again, this is just not a good value. So I avoid all that stuff, and what I'm going to be targeting, personally, is these 4-star basic catalysts. I think these are a really good value. It's, you can get 5 of these things for 2,000 intel. I think that's amazing. The Tier 2 Alpha, I think, are reasonably priced. If you pick up all of the different Tier 2 Alpha, you can only get 1 of these. This is basically half of Tier 2 Alpha. And then you can get 3 of these. You can get this 7200 for 200. So basically, it comes down to it comes down to getting an entire Tier 2 Alpha for 1,000 intel, and I think that's a really good value right there. So I'll likely be getting. Actually, I'm definitely just gonna buy 5 of these right now. Like I'm 100% getting those. But with the spare intel that I have, I will very likely be getting the Tier 2 Alpha, some of the Tier 1 Alpha as well. I'm gonna kind of wait until the end of the event to see how much intel I have left. I don't really think that this Tier 5 Basic is a strong value. You know, you could spend a ton of intel to only get like 4,500 fragments. That's really not a whole lot. And you know, if you're looking at something like this, I'd rather just go with the Awakening Gem Crystal, the 5-star Awakening Gem Crystal. But that said, if we're nearing the end of the event and maybe I have just enough intel to get like one of these versus picking up some additional Tier 1 Alphas or something, then I may choose to go with the Tier 5 Basic. We'll kind of have to see on that one. But something that I'm not going to be doing, again, I really do not think that these 5-star shards are worth it at all. I think this is an absolutely terrible value. None of the shards are good. None of the Sig Stones offerings are good. It really comes down to the Awakening Gems or these Catalysts. I don't personally need these Tier 4 class Catalyst Crystals, but I do think that these are pretty good value as well. If you are kind of limited on these, if you're not getting enough from Alliance Quest, then these really aren't too bad. These are definitely something to consider. And generally, when it comes to events like this, kind of that mid-range rank-up resource, I do feel like usually has the best value. It's kind of the best bang for your buck. The highest resources, they're generally overpriced, just because they are so hard to come by. But you know, and it kind of gives players that choice to either go all in on just expanding the top end of the roster as much as they can, even if they can't really do a whole lot, versus somebody who is just kind of trying to expand the roster, like the mid-level of the roster. So yeah, I just go for efficiency, and that's why I'm choosing the Tier 4 Basic, Tier 2 Alpha, and Tier 1 Alpha. And again, really, Awakening Gems or Catalysts, that's all you need to think about. What do you actually want? What do you actually need? That is where the value is at. All right, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.